So, guys, we are going to be going through. I have randomly picked about 5 or 10 mates on Xbox Live. I've also messaged people with Twitter and also Facebook messaged some guys. Also to find out what people want in Destiny 2. Now, these are some of my suggestions and some of the community suggestions. We're going to talk about them for the next 10 minutes. And just basically put some ideas out there because, hey, Bungie, if you're listening, feel free to use our suggestions. This is basically what the community wants. So we'll go from there. Talk to you guys soon. So the first thing that most people have said in the community is that they wish the 360 platform would die. No, not seriously. But yeah, guys, we want the 60 frames a second. We want the 1080p. This is especially prevalent when you go through and you're playing something like Halo 5 and then take a step back to Destiny. The amount of difference between the frame rates is extremely obvious. Halo itself is flawlessly smooth. Destiny, it feels like real world lag, to be honest. You go from one to the other and you definitely notice it. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, play a game at 60 frames a second and then go back to playing Destiny and you will notice the difference. Now, obviously, look, at the end of the day, the 360 consoles were the main reason why Destiny came out at 30 frames a second. Apart from that, it was because of the requirements on that. If they don't port it for the 360 and they just make it the new consoles, so Xbox One and PS4, I believe that will allow them extra room, extra bandwidth or extra memory, and allow them to basically go through and get it up to scratch. Get us our 60 frames a second, get us a 1080p, and allow us to go through and to really have a new game and a new state-of-the-art game. Because playing this game sometimes feels like a game that came out 5 years ago. And as much as I love Destiny for saying, I hate saying stuff like that, it is the truth. And it's not just me saying that. A lot of the community have said that they would like it to be on the 1080p 60 frames a second. And if that means the 360 players have to go through and buy an Xbox One and get up to date, maybe it's time. There's a lot of deals out there for the Xbox One. Maybe it's time to make the switch. Second thing is more thought in some of the quests. This is another one that was mentioned by a few friends, actually. At the end of the day, the quests always be the same thing. Go through, shoot this person, run here, and that's all it is. There's a bit of a joke that was going around on Destiny several months ago where there was two guardians sitting in the tower and they would turn around and say to each other, what are your bounties for the day? And they turned around and said, kill a bunch of people and go here. And the other person said, what's yours? The other person turned around and said the exact same thing, kill a bunch of people and go here. And they're like, cool, let's go and do it. And it was a bit of a way that the Destiny community was feeling at the time is that Destiny was extremely grinding. Now, obviously, they've tried to mix it up since then by putting in different bounties, and they have allowed it to a certain point, but there's also a few things they've done to stop the bounties from being important. And this is something that actually Precursor, King, and Urban Legend has said to me that they would like to see the exotic bounties returned back into Destiny. Now, which is a very good point. We had these exotic bounties that went through. There was only about 3 or 4 exotic bounties that you could get. They always seemed, I think there was actually about 6, but they were very, very repetitive. Once you've got it once, people were basically just picking super good advice and then breaking it down for the shard. Maybe making it so that there was more bounties, something like combining maybe the exotic bounties with something like the Black Spindle quest, something to make the exotic bounties a little bit more relevant and a little bit more important. Because at the end of the day, you know, like, let's face it, the Sleeper Stimulus quest is grinding. Apart from that, it's really not hard. The Touch of Malice quest itself is extremely grinding, but once you've done the grind, it's really not that bad. There's no real tough challenge part of it, except for the last mission where you go and kill the Echo, and you get 2 or 3 people in with that, and it's completely fine as well. So like I say, obviously something to make the quests and maybe put in something like exotic bounties or something like that. That was a good idea that I also heard. Remove the 12-month exclusive with PlayStation. Okay, a lot of the community want this, Bungie. It is hurting the PlayStation. It's hurting the Xbox players. Now, I know game exclusives always happen. Tomb Raider or Rise of the Tomb Raider is currently coming out, and the PlayStation guys won't be getting it for 12 months. I'm an Xbox player, and I personally think that sucks. And I'm the one that can get the exclusive for 12 months. I would hate to be on PlayStation because I'd be sitting there thinking by the time the Xbox guys have finished it and moved on to the next game, we're just going to be getting it. And I know how they feel because we have the exact same problem in Destiny. We have only just got the 4th Horseman 12 months after it was released. Now, okay, fine. You want to put exclusives into the game? Fine, go for it. But let's not go putting them for 12 months. It's a very, very long time. I wanted the 4th Horseman 8 months ago, 9 months ago. Hell, I wanted it 12 months ago. But fine, if you want to make them exclusive, make me wait for it. Fine, I get it. Completely agree with it. But not for 12 months. This whole 12-month exclusive thing is a complete load of crap. Excuse my French on that. There's another thing that was actually a suggestion made by a group of guys who use CGI to show Destiny and how it would look, is weapon shaders. This is an idea that I actually really love. Something that allows you to go through, grind out, make the game a little bit more grindy, but we can live with that. Maybe go through and you get weapon shader drops, so that you'll be able to go through and change the color skin of your Red Death or your Suros, or maybe your Minotaur. Maybe putting in customized skins. A lot of other games do it. For some reason, Destiny never did, and I don't understand why. So that would be one thing that I'd also love to hear as well, or love to see actually. Bigger area and more to do in tower. The tower itself is a huge area, okay? Granted. But, Bungie, there's a whole city down there, and we have no idea what they're doing. I would love to be able to walk through this city, this last city on Earth that we're protecting, to talk to people, to see people. You know, I know this is going to sound a little bit egotistic, but maybe we would walk through and they would throw rose petals on the floor. Something, you know, to show that we are actually saving this city, that there is actually something there we're saving instead of just this map that we see, or this image that we see of this city. You know, we have nothing to do with this last city on Earth except this huge tower that we all live in. Now, I know, obviously the Guardians are, quote, the elites in the society and everything like that, but at the end of the day, we still want to be able to interact with them, and maybe sort of Destiny meets Assassin's Creed. Maybe where, you know, you could go down there and there would be like games that you could play and like put wagers and betting on. Like, you know, you bet some of your Glimmer for or something along those lines. Or you would go down there and there would be like vendors that you'd be able to buy stuff from, and they would have random drops or something. Something to make it a little bit more relevant to what we are and what we're doing. Because at the moment, like I say, we're protecting this last city on Earth, and I've got no friggin' idea what I'm protecting it from or what it even looks like. So that's something that I'd like to see as well. And a lot of the community have also asked for that as well. More areas in the system, i.e. multiple locations on Earth. This is a big one. This is something that we were supposedly promised in Destiny Vanilla that never really accomplished. You're going to tell me the only place on Earth that is left to discover is Russia. No offense to the Russians, you got a great place over there, but I'm sorry, but what about New York? What about Sydney, Brisbane, Paris, London? Where are all these locations? What, have they been blown off the map? This is what I'd like to be able to see. Maybe if you click on the Earth's hemisphere, and it would then zoom in and show you like a spinning world where you could actually click different points. I'm not asking for 50 million points, but maybe 3, 4, 5, 10 cities where you could go and explore. So you could do, for example, Russia, Sydney, Paris, London, New York, Chicago, LA, and maybe have the different areas as different scapes. And not just Earth, but, like even our own solar system. Yeah, the star map's getting a little full now, but we've had to wait 18 months just so we can go to Saturn. There was a lot of talk about other places in the solar system that we were supposed to get to see. At Mercury, for example. We can go to Mercury when we do the Trials of Osiris, and there's a Mercury map, but forget trying to do a mission to Mercury, it doesn't even come up on the star map. So, and this is one thing the community would like as well. A lot more locations and a lot more different planets. You're going to tell me you can't make different environments for the same different spots? Okay, make it so Paris, it's Paris itself. You got a lot of New Orleans / Paris type buildings. A lot of the 3 or 4 story buildings that you can walk through and around, and you got the Eiffel Tower in the background or something along those lines. LA, whole bunch of office buildings. Streets, cityscapes, stuff along those lines. Sydney, maybe the Sydney Opera House and the Sydney Bridge, along with all the parks and all that sort of area at the front. So it's a lot of big open world maps, sort of stuff like that. Russia will keep as it is because obviously you have established that already. But there's got to be different spots like where you can do, and different locations where you can put these different type of areas. And that way it's not so much of this great big open world, open paddock sort of field that we get with Destiny. Obviously, they did mix it up a little bit by putting in the buildings and the areas and stuff like that. Like you'll go through, like the Vex, for example, on Venus. You'd go through and you'd be in a great big open planet, and then you drive into this area and you go through all these little buildings. Maybe mix it up a little bit, something like that. I don't know. But, something where we could have different locations. Different types of missions, so it doesn't feel so grindy. This is basically pretty much like the bounties mission. Guys, look, at the end of the day, I found that Destiny was really, really grindy when it came to missions. They were pretty much the same sort of thing. They weren't bad, I'm not commenting on that. Just maybe make them a little bit more random or a little bit more different. More personal action with NPCs. This was something that happened with the Taken King. The interaction between, for example, the Guardians and Clyde 6 was great. It was fantastic. I loved the Taken King because of it. It was something that Destiny had done really, really well, and the community loved it. I hope that continues in Destiny 2, and that was something that Destiny really did an amazing job on. So congratulations to them for that. Weapons range. Yes. Okay, so Call of Duty has a weapons range. I don't play much Call of Duty, but I do definitely remember that. So, and this is more for YouTubers, I suppose, in a way. You're going to tell me that we can't put a weapons range in where we could see what damage guns do. Now, I do a little bit of weapons testing, and I know also Dado and all the other YouTubers and stuff like that do the same sort of thing. Why can't we put in a weapons range where a hologram would appear of a Vex and you would shoot it and It wouldn't necessarily kill it. Maybe it would just tell you what the damage readout was. So a headshot would be 1,000. Then it would allow you to mix up your guns, maybe change the guns around a little bit, and see if you could get the ideal headshot or body shot, and sort of give you an indication of what guns do what damage. Also, maybe making a weapons range where you can actually go through and practice your Crucible would be great. Maybe a simulated area where you could go through and shoot enemies or shoot Guardians at a practice level. I know there's times where I've played PvE for like 6 weeks or whatever, jumped into PvP and got absolutely wrecked because I wasn't used to playing it again. I was all fully customized to PvE. And then I had to play a few games, get my ranking or get my skill level back up for PvP, and then start playing it again. And sooner or later, 16, 20 kills, etc. But yeah, unfortunately, by the time I normally get to that stage, I'm sort of sick of PvP and I'm being back into a raid. So it was kind of like going backwards and forwards. So a weapons range, would love to see that. Something that allow you to go through, and that's something that they could put into the tower. Maybe when I was saying before about making different areas, maybe putting in a weapons range. Raids. Okay, Luke Smith does the raids. No offense to the guy that did the Crota raid, but Luke Smith is amazing at the raids, and we really would like to, or I would personally really like to see him do a lot of them. He is amazing at them. The Taken King was an amazing raid. Vault of Glass was a fantastic raid as well. Luke Smith, really, he is the raid god when it comes to raids, and we all get down and bow at Luke Smith's feet for them. The raids are amazing, and I'd like to see him keep doing the raids too. Scramble objects are cool. Scannable objects, so I can't read my own writing. More scannable objects that link to Gilmore score. This was a really interesting thing that came in Destiny Taken King. I would love to see it in Destiny 2. That itself was an amazing piece of technology, and it really did allow the interaction between the lore and the Destiny characters. It was something that you didn't have to scan if you didn't want to, but I found myself pressing the little X button more than once, just to find out about the lore, about certain things, maybe expanding on that technology a little bit, putting more of the Gilmore score and Gilmore cards and stuff in the game, and definitely like to see that return. Hybrid servers or dedicated servers. This is mostly for the PvP suggestion, and this was actually made by Wargasmo, one of my mates on Xbox Live, so big shout out to Gary there. Guys, obviously we're having a bit of problems with lag with Destiny. Iron Banner, or Iron Banana, basically lags really badly. Now, I've heard the numbers for Iron Banner last week were over 1 million competitors. I can sort of see why the Destiny servers get lagged when it comes to that. But also when you get to like the Oryx Challenge, a lot of those problems that we're having with the Oryx Challenge comes down to lag, from what we can tell anyway. Maybe by putting in some dedicated or hybrid servers of 2 would allow people to go through and to sort out a lot of the problems they're having with lag. That is something that's definitely going through that really does cripple the Destiny community, and it really is frustrating. It shouldn't take so long to do the Oryx Challenge. And it's Oryx Challenge this week, and I haven't even started it, and I'm regretting even doing it because I just know it's going to be glitching like a mother. Another suggestion that was actually made by Precursor, King, and Urban Legend was direct drops instead of endgame content for PvP. We've all seen it, we've all heard it. Kilmore, this one's shut out for you, buddy. One of my mates the other day was constantly on top of the PvP chart, except for once or twice, and he would get nothing. There would be a great big empty drop right next to his name, and the poor bastard just got 30 kills for nothing. Now, he was already doing Iron Banner, he was already rank 5, he wasn't getting any ranking or anything from the Iron Banner, and he would get 0 drops, and it happened more than once. This is something that I would like to see. Maybe make it so that when you've got so many points or so many kills, that it would actually allow you to go through and to get a drop or a legendary or a rare drop or something like that, to allow you to go through and basically allow you to get some extra stuff, just in case you do manage to pull the good old 0 drop at the end of the game. Now, another thing that people have also asked for is some sort of competitive multiplayer sort of ranking system for Destiny. And this is also coming into the direct drops as well, which is something that also Precursor and his crew was asking for. Maybe something where you could actually go through and, for example, you get like a card or a scorecard, and if you're in the top 10%, maybe guaranteed exotic. Maybe 20 to 50%, maybe a chance at an exotic or a legendary, and maybe 50 to 100%, then it'd be a chance at a legendary or a rare, something along those lines, so to make it a little bit more competitive for the PvP players. Now, obviously, at the moment, they've got Trials of Osiris and stuff along those lines. That's great. But just something so that people that don't compete in Trials and that don't do the raids, just the Crucible guys have something that allow them to get a few extra rewards and possibly help them get up towards 320. Another thing a bit of the community is asking for, and it's a common thing, is how to approach to lag switching and to DDoSing people. Iron Banner was especially bad for this last week. Personally, I think I reported about 3 to 5 people. A Precursor said he reported about 5. And a few of my other mates also reported a fair few people as well. Guys, Iron Banner, it is competitive multiplayer. If you have to DDoS people or lag switch, you're not that good of a player. Go and practice. It was really, really bad last week when it came to Iron Banner and those attacks, or those people using those tactics to win. It's something that Bungie needs to control and clamp down on. Iron Banner already lags enough as it is, without people making the network even more laggy just so they can win a game. Now look guys, obviously this has gone for about 20 something minutes, so I'm going to wrap it up here. I'm probably going to make a part 2 on this video. So if you have any suggestions, please feel free to post in the comment section below. Apart from that guys, also you can hit me up on Twitter using the hashtag WWW.WhatWeWantIn D2, Destiny 2, so D2. Or just DM message me. I'm always open to suggestions. But guys, yeah, look, let us know in the comment section below, what would you like to see in Destiny 2? Remember, hit like and subscribe for this video. We are posting videos as much as we can, so please feel free to subscribe. And guys, I hope you enjoyed Destiny, and remember, Destiny 2 is scheduled to September. I've heard around September. Someone was saying around, I think Gary was saying around November, but I've heard around September. So guys, look, not long before Destiny 2, and Bungie, if you're listening, please feel free to use some of our suggestions. Have a great day, Guardians. Enjoy Destiny.